is Debbie Harry at the BBC.
You think Johnnie was the obvious choice from the new album?
No. We wanted that, originally the idea to use that song was so we would have a chance of getting AM airplay in the United States, which is very difficult for new bands or subculture bands to get on. Oh, Johnnie.
Your parents who brought you up, what did they want for you? Did you have to get good marks in school? Did you have to be a neat girl, a well-behaved girl?
Of course.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that they really knew jack about, the music business. Because of that, they were sort of worried that, I was going to feel, disillusioned and crushed and everything. And, quite possibly I would have. But my mother, I think, always envisioned me having a life very similar to hers, marriage and family.
And they were quite a religious family, were they? I mean, it was church going and all of that?
Yeah.
Did you sing in the choir?
I did.
Right.
Of course.
Were you picked out for solos? Were you told?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. So early on, I mean, it's easy amid all the kind of image and the hits to forget about
where
your
comes
voice.
From.
Yes,
yeah.
to forget that you have this voice. But you had a good voice from early on, did you?
Yes, I did have the ability to carry a tune and hear, I had good ears.
And who were you listening to then in the 50s and 60s, early 60s?
Oh, I guess everything that was on the radio, mostly radio. I had my head practically in the speaker. The speaker was about this big. That's right, in there, listening to this music.
Were you a beautiful little girl? I imagine you must have been.
I think I went through good stages and bad stages, hideous stages, actually.
What were the most hideous? Give us some comfort. Ever have a perm?
Oh, I did. A home perm that really went bad. I had a fro long before it was the right thing to do.
Was it destiny? I don't know yet. Was it just by chance? Could this be kismet? Something in my consciousness told me you'd appear. Now I'm always touched by your presence here. When we play at cards, you use an extra sense. It's really not cheating. You can read my head, I've got no defense.
At that point in 1978, when Denis is out, your second album, Plastic Letters, is coming out, and all of a sudden, Denis starts climbing the charts in the UK. What was going on then around that time? Were you suddenly getting calls from your management or record label saying, you've got to go to Britain, you've got to go over to Europe, they're buying your record over, pack your bags, you're off to the UK?
Well, I think we had been over there doing a tour before that came out, about a year ahead of that.
And did you have a blueprint when you started of what you wanted Blondie to be? Because you went through various lineup changes, different bands, different names. It took quite a while before Blondie became Blondie.
I think the only real master plan that we had was that we wanted to have, in theory, we wanted to have a band or a group that everyone was sort of contributing to that sound, that it wasn't a blueprint or, as you say, a master plan, that it was a sort of a corporation and incorporation of what our musicians were about. And so we finally did actually achieve some of that.
Talk me a bit through the process of your lyric writing, because you say sometimes it just came from a phrase. So Chris Stein once saying dreaming is free, and that's the starting off point for a whole song.
Well, very often we work like that, where, he would be working on a melody, and I would say to him, well, what's going through your head, phrase-wise, and, he would give me a phrase like dreaming is free, and then I could story it, I could make it into something else, develop it.
You make it sound like it just happens, but there's a real poetry with the way your lyrics work. They're not always telling a literal story. There's something more vague and emotional about them.
Well, sometimes I hit the mark and sometimes I didn't. But yeah, I think that's, to try to make it not so obvious. What I always felt when I heard songs before I was, writing, I always felt that they were open to interpretation. And I know that's true for many people, because sometimes you get the line a little bit twisted, but it's related to your life and it becomes more meaningful. You take on a real personal identity with it. You say, well, that's part of me, or that's part of my life. And I think that's sort of the beauty of pop music, because you can really own it.
I met you in a restaurant. You could tell I was no debutante. You asked me what's my pleasure, a movie or a measure. I'll have a cup of tea and tell you of my dreaming. Dreaming is free. Dreaming is free. I don't want to live on charity. Pleasure's real or is it fantasy? Real to real is living rarity. People stop and stare at me. We just walk on by. We just keep on dreaming. Beat me, walking a 2 mile. Meet me at the turnstile. I never met him. I'll never forget him. Dream, dream, even for a little while. Dream, dream, filling up the night without fade away. I sit by and watch the river flow. I sit by and watch the traffic go. Imagine something of your very own, something you can have at home. I build a road and go just to have some dreaming. Dreaming is free. Dreaming is free.
What about Iggy Pop and David Bowie? Blondie's first tour was with those two.
Everybody was over the moon, and so we did a show, a final show. I think it was at Max's, and we all jumped into this RV and drove up to Canada to hook up with them, and they were very generous, and they made it clear that their concern was to put on a good show, and they weren't about to beat us up or crucify us in any way, and that was how it went, and we did this wonderful tour with them.
And both of those became friends? You had adventures with them?
Over the years, yes. I mean, it's not like we were calling up every night and chatting about nothing, but always on good terms and, going to see each other's shows. And sometimes they would just sort of arrive somewhere and just, oh, hi, so good to see them. And, of course, Chris did some great photos with both of them. And that's part of, his legacy. So it was wonderful.
And Chris Stein, how would you sum him up and what he means to you?
I don't know if I can sum him up other than say he might be, if not the very most important person in my life, close to it. I mean, we just had a great partnership. We still do. I think he's a really special person for me. To say it simply, we hit it off.
You talk about how protective he was of you when things were going, crazy.
Yeah.
He looks after you.
Yeah, well, he's a guy, he's a manly guy, and we were, lovers and partners, and, he felt all that stuff, that a guy feels, and, I appreciated that no end, but, I think it was sort of a hard position to be in.
This is Debbie Harry at the BBC on Radio 2.
They had this idea of teaming you up with Mike Chapman, so
yeah,
he was one half of this production duo, Jenni Chapman.
Yeah,
and
Jenni Chapman.
He was quite tough on the band members, and especially on Clem as a drummer, wasn't he?
Everybody had to, we gave him a hard time equally, but he was so affable, it was easy to do all that repetition.
Well, he wanted to make it as good as possible, and everything was analog. It had to be done manually, and it was. And so it was the hardest we had worked up until that time to get things with precision and exactness, and that was was very important for us to learn.
And also, I read that some of the songs that were just finished at the last minute, he'd say, Debbie, I'm ready for your vocal. And you'd say, hang on a minute. And you're still writing lyrics?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like One Way or Another, maybe.
Well, you know, One Way or Another was a sort of funny thing. You know, they all come together a little bit differently. And One Way or Another, Nigel came in with this riff and the band started fooling around with it and came together really quickly. And I had the refrain just like that. And it happened very fast. Some of the songs do, you know, they sort of write themselves. Even to this day, I'll sit down with a piece of music and it practically writes itself.
One way or another, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get you one way or another. I'm gonna win you. I'm gonna get you one way or another. I'm gonna see you. I wanna meet you one day. Maybe next week. I'm gonna meet you. I'll meet you. I will drive past your house, and if the lights are all down, I'll see who's around. One way or another, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get you one way or another. I'm gonna win you. I'll get you one way or another. I'm gonna see ya. I'm gonna meet you one day. Maybe next week. I'm gonna meet ya. I'll meet ya. And if the lights are all out, I'll follow your bus downtown. See who's hanging out. One way or another, I'm gonna lose ya. I'm gonna give you the slip, or slip on a hip or another. I'm gonna lose ya. I'm gonna trick ya. I'll trick ya. One way or another, I'm gonna lose ya. I'm gonna trick ya one way or another. I'm gonna lose ya. I'm gonna give you the slip. I walk down North Stand over by the wall where I can see it all. Find out who's gonna lead you to the supermarket. Check out some specials and rap. Get lost in the crowd. One way or another, I bet you I can set you all. One way or another, I bet you I can set you all.
Blondie explodes and people start to really buy your records. And you pulled off that pretty rare trick of being at once entirely commercially successful and at the same time being credible and cool. Pretty clever stuff, really.
I think people were more broad-minded in those days. I mean, you know, we wanted to reach people. I wanted to entertain people.
Did you want to be a star?
Yeah, I mean, I always said that, you know, I wanted to be a movie star, basically. You know, it seemed like, well, gee, that must be great, you know, to be a star, you know.
And what about your look then? I mean, David LaChapelle, the photographer, called you the definition of cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, thanks, Dave.
And he should know.
Clearly, I mean, we had called it Blondie. I had to have the blonde hair. And, you know, I worked in a salon for a while, so, I mean, bleach was easily available.
Did you bleach your own hair? Is it true that...
Oh, yeah, then later on I completely burnt it off my head, but, you know, I'm kidding. I mean, I think I've enjoyed, you know, a certain freedom. As I said, you know, I grew up in a different time and there was, you know, more freedom for making bad mistakes, perhaps.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you had this time for everything to kind of percolate through, that you were performing to people, as you say, you weren't talent spotted. There was nobody saying, I'll get you an endorsement, or, you were just doing your own thing.
I like audiences. I remember one especially really, really fun one was in New Orleans. It was at this club, and I had on this dress that was made of razor blades, double-edged.
You really do like to live on the edge, don't you? Yeah.
Well, it was beautiful. I looked like a snake skin, and it moved, and it was really pretty. I was up on stage and doing this great set, and everybody was out of their minds and, celebrating, and the hands were reaching out of the audience and running down my razor blade dress, and I was sort of thinking, oh my God. And then the lights went out and the sound went off, the electricity went off, but the hands were still, caressing my dress and going up and down my legs, and it was just this great moment, and then the lights and the music came back on, and I went back into the song, and it was just a really exciting moment, very visual.
I want to ask you about Heart of Glass, because that's such a pioneering sounding record in terms of the use of synthesizers, in terms of the whole feel of the track. What can you remember about recording it? Was it very heavily influenced by discos and going out? What was the inspiration behind that track?
Well, I think that was the big contest between disco and rock, and I think Chris brought in this little rhythm machine and set up that beginning, that little beat, and just sort of evolved from there, because we had that song for quite a long time.
Really?
Yeah, we had that song sort of for about 5 years before we actually recorded it. It just worked, I think that was our first album that we made with Mike Chapman, and he had a real desire and flair for making radio pop kind of songs. That was his real specialty, and so I think that helped a lot. he was able to help us sculpt our songs and our musical ideas into compositions that made sense. You know, I think that sometimes we had ideas and we didn't put them together very well. But he was, in a way, it was sort of like going to school with Mike.
Thinking there about a woman like Beth Ditto and before her Courtney Love and Madonna, the reason that those people existed was, of course, because you had existed as the first woman to front a band very differently. I think you weren't that, you weren't the simpering singer in the silk dress and the high heels playing nice. Was that a very deliberate persona?
In a way, I think it was a sign of the times. I don't really claim that, I invented it. It just sort of evolved. We had burned our bras and, it just went on from there. I felt that, women should not portray themselves as victims. We were counterculture of the period. I guess it was just, the right time, the right place, the right thing,
Let's go back to the 1980s, the beginning of 1980, and you had this hit with the song Call Me. How did that come about?
Well, I guess we were sort of well known to Giorgio and to Paul Schrader, and it came down to us approving the track and putting it together with Giorgio.
And Paul Schrader, of course, is the guy who wrote Taxi Driver. Did he direct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got to hang out with Richard Gere. I remember bringing him to a guitar store. He was dabbling in guitar and trying to explain to the guys in the guitar store that he was going to be a big star, but they didn't really care.
Do you remember writing Atomic? There is a demo version of Atomic on the box set, which I think is called Spaghetti Song. But do you remember first playing it or writing it?
No, I just sort of remember the feeling of it, and here we had this song that in my mind was a spaghetti western theme, and I had no idea where to go with it. So in a way, lyrically, I just sort of, I don't know, I was just trying to be as spaghetti western as I possibly could be. And so it just was sort of, I don't know, not silly, but absurd.
By their fifth album, Auto-American, in 1980, Blondie were a massive international group and had started to absorb and reinterpret more eclectic influences, most famously on the single Rapture, inspired by the nascent hip-hop scene in New York, regarded by many as the first hit song to feature a rap of sorts.
No, not quite, but first one to go into the charts.
Okay.
Reach number 1.
Were you absorbing that music scene in New York at the time a lot?
Yeah, I mean, that's how we sort of decided to do it. We'd been to see some great little shows and meet Grandmaster Flash and Funky 4+1 More, and it was just it seemed like an obvious thing to do. I don't know.
But it was an obvious thing to do. It was quite a surprising thing to do. It was quite a groundbreaking thing to do in many ways. You make it sound like it wasn't a big deal. It was a pretty big deal.
It was a big deal.
People have said, well, Debbie Harry gave up her career to look after Chris Stein.
I know, it's so awful, isn't it?
Well, it doesn't sound awful. It sounds quite selfless.
I know, but it's so. That's what I mean. I'm not really totally like that. I really felt like Chris and I were like a team, and I really had no inclination to go on. I really didn't.
Right.
I just didn't envision myself as a solo artist. I never really wanted to be a solo artist, actually. I always wanted to be in a band. I always did, yeah.
And obviously, when you find out that your partner is so desperately ill, that is a time of sort of intense emotion. You thought you were going to lose him at one point, did you? You thought that he wouldn't survive this illness?
Well, yeah, that's what I was told. I was told that it was terminal and there was no cure for it, so that was kind of awful. But that was bad information.
Right. And how long did it take Chris Stein to recover?
Quite a while, yeah. I think that his brain was always working. I mean, we still had some laughs and stuff like that. It wasn't completely horrible. I mean, it was just very, very hard physically.
You've always had a solo career kind of running concurrently with Blondie as well. Your first solo album was 1981. Was that an attempt to kind of step away from your identity as the band? Did you want to kind of reclaim some of yourself, having become just the face of this band?
Perhaps. I think it was a chance to do something a little bit different musically.
Because you worked with Nile Rodgers and Bernie Evans, incredible producers from Chic. Were you big fans of Chic's work?
Definitely. No, they were terrific, and I think we had met them, a couple of times, Chris and I, and it seemed like a super opportunity, and we did it. In order to continue and to carry on together, we really had to, forgive and forget. I think I probably had, some anger and some things to resolve, I think that's probably a lot what the song Forgive and Forget is about. So, for me, that song is particularly poignant and inspirational, with regards to the Blondie reunion. Being in Blondie is a very unique experience, and it's something that, beyond each other, it's sort of like you have to respect the experience.
She moves like she don't care, smooth as silk, cool as air. Ooh, it makes you wanna cry. She doesn't know your name, and your heart beats like a subway train. Ooh, it makes you wanna die. Ooh, don't you wanna take her? Wanna make her all your own. Maria, you've gotta see her. Go insane and out of your mind. Regina, Ave Maria. A million and one candlelights. I've seen this thing before in my best friend and the boy next door. Fool for love and fool on fire. One coming from the rain. She's oceans running down the drain. Blue as ice and desire. Don't you wanna make her? Ooh, don't you wanna take her home? Maria, you've gotta see her. Go insane and out of your mind. Regina, Ave Maria. A million and one candlelights. Ooh, don't you wanna break her? walking on imported air. Ooh, it makes you wanna die.
And so here you are still performing. I'm wondering, you know, sometimes when people have explored the highs and the lows, there reaches a point where they think, no, they want to close the door on that life, you know, that ups and downs and on stage and the applause and then alone in the dressing room. You still enjoy exploring it, do you?
Well, I think that, you know, after all this time, I enjoy it more than ever. And
why is
I
that?
Appreciate it probably more.
Right. Can you tell me why? Why do you think you
Because I feel that I'm better at it. I guess I just get more out of it, you know, and I keep learning things. I mean, what more could you ask for in a job?
Which song from Parallel Lines do you like, Debbie?
I don't know, you know, if I ever have a particular favorite on any of the albums. It sort of changes for me, you know, because of performing them live for so many years. Heart of Glass really stands up, I guess, because we sort of have that as a theme song, and we really play that regularly at the end of the show. But, you know, we sort of updated the ending and made it a little bit free-form, although it's not entirely free-form, but we've expanded it somehow. And, you know, sometimes we throw in other pieces of music, and sometimes I even sing a bit of a Shangri-La song, Train from Kansas City. I threw that in there.
How did you develop your style when you began to make Blondie?
I think by making a lot of mistakes. We learn from our mistakes, right? So I tried. You know, I have, I guess, an adventurous spirit, but I love fashion, and I love clothes, and I love style. So I experimented, and it does take time to figure out what really looks good on you and what you're comfortable in.
I think at one time, though, you said you were criticised for exploiting your sexuality. How did you respond to that at the time?
I thought it was pretty obvious that it was a necessity.
Got you known.
Necessity.
What sort of impact do you reckon you've had on the new generation of singers coming up now? I mean, people like Lady Gaga.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would be very honored and happy to be an influence on anyone. The way that I figured out how to do what I do is that I just piled it on in layers and sifted through things, and, you know, things that I heard and things that I liked, I learned from, and it's just that kind of a practical education. Although nowadays I guess they do teach rock and roll courses in schools, so it's pretty great.
Love is so confusing, there's no peace of mind. If I fear
Debbie, why do you suppose so many musicians of that period are still so successful?
I really couldn't say, except that we love what we do. I mean, we're very fortunate to be doing it, and maybe you get to a certain point in your life and you realize, you know, how important it is and how personally important it is, and just don't want to stop. I don't know, we're fortunate, you know, we enjoy better health these days in general.
I always thought that you didn't really compromise. You always stayed true to yourself. You somehow kept your integrity all the way through it, in my view.
Well, that's very generous of you to say that, you know, because we're all just finding a way through this maze of opportunities or lack of opportunity. We just make our way through. That was a very nice compliment. Thank you.
Well, it's true. And of course, now you're really there forever, up in people's minds and hearts and what have you. So, I mean, you can't ever go back to having a real job.
The only thing I can think I could do would be real estate.
Yeah, that you could do that on the side.
Debbie Harry at the BBC was a BBC audio production for Radio 2. You can also listen to Debbie Harry, The Fan Story, where famous admirers explain the impact Debbie had on their life and creativity. Just search Debbie Harry in BBC Sounds. Plus, there are more celebratory programmes available now to watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is Radio 2
on BBC Sounds and on your smart speaker. Play BBC Radio 2.